Okay, let's come back together. Abel, if you could read the first one for us.
Okay, sure. Words are powerful. They create and destroy confidence. They start and wreck relationships. They land and lose jobs. You probably felt the sting of a careless comment from your parent or experienced the hurtful teasing of a classmate on the playground. And you've likely whispered gossip you wish you could have taken back or said something in the heat of the moment. You regretted it when the argument had passed.
So again, it's talking about the negative effects of words. One example I remember is one of my friend. She heard something, so she's still like mentally like affected, and she was telling me the reason for that. And she said it was because she heard something when she was like in kindergarten from one of her friends. Like it was something negative, and like that like stayed with her. And because of that, like it affects her even till like today. She goes through like depression or anxiety and things like that. So that's an example of like words long time ago, 20, 30 years back, and yet it still affects her. Here's the positive.
On the brighter side, a charming remark may have led you to love or praise from your boss may have been a turning point in your career. For better and unfortunately for worse, the words you say and the words you hear have the power to shape your entire life. And the more sobering thing is that your words have the power to shape other people's lives too. Every day with every word you can build up or tear down.
I remember when I was in, I think either junior high or high school, I went to visit a friend's house, and then the friend had an older sister, and then that was my first time seeing her. And then she like made a passing comment like, "Oh, like your friend's cute," to me. So she said that to me, okay, but not in like a oh like I like you. That it's just like younger friend kind of a thing. But like that stayed with me forever. Like even now, like I think of that and I smile. So something negative could affect you, and something positive can really affect you. And so power has words. Let's keep going. Lauren.
The Apostle Paul knew this, or maybe he'd learned it the hard way like so many of us. So when he wrote a letter, Paul reminded them to watch their words. His advice, do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen.
This is going to be our key Bible verse that we're going to keep coming back to. But this is the reason why we're also doing this as well, because it's really easy to come over here. It's really easy to hurt people, and we have experienced it ourselves, and we have hurt other people before. But right here, it tells us that we should be very careful in how we speak. And so the better we understand, the whole goal of the study is the better we understand what kind of words that we speak and why we speak those things, then we're going to better control how we speak and why we speak. And then when we talk to other people too, we're going to understand them better as well. It's okay. Hannah?
Paul is showing us many things we're looking at your words can help or hurt. His advice is to choose the helpful words. Of course, we all agree the problem is we keep just messing up. Wanting to help not hurt with our words doesn't seem to be enough. We need to get practical. That's what we'll do in this series. We'll start by learning how you are uniquely wired to say and hear certain words. Then you'll figure out the words others are wired for and practice avoiding the hurtful ones and choosing the helpful ones. The framework we'll use is the 4 temperaments.
Yeah, and that's why we call it the 4 colors. Okay, so obviously we're generalizing here. Not all of us probably fit perfectly into these, and we have probably shades of red, shades of yellow, green, and blue, but we're just compartmentalizing it so that we better understand these. Okay, so we're going to understand why we speak the way we do, why we communicate the way we do, and why others communicate the way we do. But we got to first understand these 4 temperaments first, and that's what we're going to do in the first section. All right, next, Daniel.
In this series, we're going to look at temperament, not personality. So let's be clear on the difference between the two. Temperament is your innate wiring from God, what you're naturally predisposed to do. Like your eye color or fingerprint, it's unchangeable. It's why some people are drawn to the spotlight and stage and others are content with a cubicle in a quiet office. You don't choose who you are and who you can't change, and you can't change how you're wired, though many of us try. We'll get to that later.
Okay, so how he's going to, or she's going to define the word temperament is it's just something that you're born with. Okay, and you cannot change this no matter what you do because you're just born this way. Okay, kind of like your eyes of your color. Okay, you can't change it. All right, so let's keep going. So this is nature. Next.
Personality is how you display your thoughts and feelings. It's influenced by things like birth order, education, and experiences. It can and does evolve over time. Just think about the high school version of you compared to the man or woman you are today. The years and experiences in between have changed.
Okay, so personality, according to this, is nurture. So this would be nature. This is something you were born with. This is not something you choose. Okay, but this right here, this is shaped. Question?
No, I was going to say,
Oh.
I think I've heard like multiple times that I think right around the age 13, your personality becomes somewhat fixed. It's very tough to change.
Okay, so we have temperament and personality. Again, whether you agree with that or not, this is what it's gonna. The study is gonna be based on this. So you don't have to agree with it if you don't want to. That's fine. I'm just letting you know that this is how the author and the book, it's gonna base it on that. Let's keep going.
There are 4 temperaments, each predisposition to speak and hear certain words. It may be helpful to think of your temperament as your first language. It's what comes naturally to you. When someone engages you in conversation, responding in this language is automatic. You don't even have to think about it.
Yeah. So whatever color you are, you're going to be obviously very proficient at this. And then when you talk to other people with the same language, then you're going to understand them better as well. But regardless, we're going to learn all 4. And hopefully by the time we finish our series, you don't become proficient at all of them, obviously. It's going to take time. But at least you become aware that people speak in different colors. Okay. All right. So here are the 4 colors. So I'm sure some of you guys have heard this before, okay? The red is cholerics, okay? Yellow, sanguines. But we're not going to use these big words because it's complicated, okay? Blue, melancholic. You guys have heard melancholic, right? Like blues, right? Okay, and then phlegmatic, they're the greens, okay? So I'm going to first show you guys. I know some of you guys are already taking the test. That's fine. Okay, so these two right here, they're extroverts. Okay, so even if you didn't take the test yet, this will be like a simple test. It's not going to be 100% obviously, but okay. So red and the yellow, they're extroverts, and we're going to talk about what extroverts mean. I'll explain a little bit later. And then yellow, the blue and the green, they're introverts. So already think of yourself. Okay, am I an extrovert? Am I an introvert? Okay, try to see where you're at. Okay, so cholerics and melancholics, right here, the red and the blue, one is extroverted, one is introverted, but they're more task-oriented. So task is more important than relationships. Okay? So if you're an introverted and task-oriented, you're this. If you're introverted but task-oriented, you're probably this. Again, not 100%, but again over here, these people over here, the yellow and the green, they're more people-oriented. So people are more important than task in priority-wise. Okay? So if you're extroverted and you're also people-oriented, you're going to be talking a lot, by the way. Okay? Because you love people and you're extroverted as well. Okay? So you're right here. But if you're introverted, but you like people, you're phlegmatic. You're green. Okay? So just to give you kind of a preview, for the reds, they speak language of power and control. Okay, that's really big for them. So I'm going to give you some examples of these. For the sanguines, it's all about people and fun. Right? They're outgoing and also they're people-oriented. So the things they say, okay, people and fun. Over here, it's about calm and harmony. They're quiet. And yet at the same time, they like people. They want to have peace with people as well. Over here, they're introverted. And yet they're task-oriented as well. So it's about perfection and order and having having peace inside. Not with necessarily people, but things that I do, I want to make sure that everything is controlled and organized. Okay? All right, so let's kind of, we're going to talk about this a little bit more. Okay, this is what it means to be introverted. Number one, introverted, direct their thoughts and feelings inward. Sorry, introverted. Okay, so once again, blue and green, you direct your thoughts inwardly. Okay, extroverts, you direct your thoughts and feelings outwardly. So you show it, or you talk, or with action, it's outside. So introverts, it's about thoughts and feelings inside, and then for extroverts, it's outside. So introverts process thoughts and feelings before speaking. So they internalize everything first, and then they speak. So they're going to be a lot more careful with how they speak over here. Whereas yellow and reds, they don't think very much, okay? What do? They process thoughts, feelings by speaking. Okay, they're going to talk. And then, so they're a lot more direct, and they're a lot more blunt sometimes. They're a lot more, they do a lot of harm. They can do a lot of harm. Okay, because they think by speaking. Okay, so task-oriented, it's about accomplishing things, and the people-oriented, it's about fostering relationship. Any questions or clarifications I can make so far? Questions, clarifications? Okay, so if you haven't taken the test, no problem. You could take it afterwards. But I realized that I made a mistake because the test that it was original, I made a photocopy, and the original actually had color. But I realized Hannah told me, was it Hannah? No, it was Belinda told me. The photocopy doesn't actually show the color. So it's a good thing. Okay, if you have taken the test, so the first one is yellow. Yellow, red, blue, and green. Okay, some of you guys, you're going to have 2 or 3 that's like the same or even. Okay, by the way, if it's like number is very, very high, that's good. Then your color is very dominant. But some of you guys might, like 2 of them might be like very close. Okay? Then just keep listening and just try to figure out which one you resonate with more to figure out. Some of the older folk in here, including myself, especially a parent like me and Lee, this is going to get even harder because there's a personality that we take on because of our parenting. So we forgot our temperament because we're covered up with different personalities as well. And then that's what happens with older people too. There's temperament, and then there's personality that happens, or different traumas, or different things that happen in your life that radically changed the way you perceive the world. So it didn't change you, but the way you portray yourself, how you show yourself, it changed as well. And so if you have those things, again, that's why some of your numbers are going to look similar. But keep listening to it and try to see, okay, like internally, like naturally, who am I really? And that should be your color. Okay. Any questions? Clarifications? Okay. Let's get together with the same people and then answer this question. And then if you didn't take the test, which is fine, just so far, what color do you think you are perhaps? Okay, and do you think it describes you well? Okay, go for it. What color are you? And then do you think it's true? Go for it. I'll get you a test.
The yellow and the red, that makes brown, right? I'm mixing the colors. I think I'm everything. You are? Alright.
But I'm very.
It just depends on the mood.
You're not
It's already hard for me to answer.
How about just looking at here?
I think I'm everything.
Oh, you're everything?
It just depends on like the situation.
Yeah.
I'll try.
But that is true. Yeah, we have some parts of it.
I can be an introvert. I think that one thing is I internalize.
Or the present time, you know?
Express emotions.
Yeah. whatever's happening right now.
I express
Yeah.
decision making, that type of stuff. Business.
'Cause, like, I'm
How
not
about
saying-
what did you get, Abel? What
Well,
color?
still, I would say.
Oh no, just looking at this, what do you think?
Then again, yeah.
Brown,
I'm between yellow and
Yeah,
red.
here it's,
Yellow and red.
No, I'm kidding. No.
It's,
It's Mexican.
I think you're probably more extroverted, right?
red, yellow.
Or do you think you're more introverted?
Like,
So when your thoughts and emotions, are you thinking about it by yourself, or do you need to talk to somebody?
yeah, I think about things and then kind of just blab them out.
Okay, so you're probably over here. More task or people? Oh, I think you're green.
But at the same time, when you say something, it's like I cannot hide the feeling.
That's fine.
And so that's why I'm like, you tell me something.
Yeah, I think you're either probably here or here, somewhere here.
What did you?
So I'm blue.
So you're
If I
more.
mix it.
No, no, right here. Oh, if you mix the colors,
Oh, so you're.
yellow and green, is it blue?
And yellow and
You're more.
you're mixed green.
You mentioned a concert, so. Yeah, you might be around more have fun. But are you also like very controlled?
24 angry.
I got 25 angry. At least you're pretty close. You're almost like. So this is. You're almost. Like. Okay, what'd you get this? 4. Okay, at least you got some. This was.
What was your
Red, yellow, green,
Zero.
blue.
Oh,
You're like red,
5 and green.
yellow.
My second.
Oh, you're very fine.
You're almost like blue too. Yeah. That's green. So you're almost like here. You're almost like even. Like if there was like a little bit more red, yellow. Actually, you'd be almost like.
Good to see.
See, man. I just came out because I needed to be around people.
I'm glad you came.
I'd be more. Yeah, it would be.
Did something happen or
Yeah.
no? Sorry.
I think you're up here.
Are you drunk?
Kevin's like.
That's cool.
You want to talk about it later?
I'm a red. I'm red.
Yeah, you're just like heavily red.
Just heavy. I
And,
probably
you're a
did.
little blue.
Dude, you're like so yoked. It looked like you did like push-ups before you came.
No, I didn't.
It's like so firm.
I think the only part that keeps me less
Very
is,
far away.
I tend to, I delegate some, but I tend to like,
All right, let's come together.
doing a lot of big.
How many of you guys just initially? We're gonna go into it more, and so you might change. It's okay. How many of you guys think you're red? Red? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think I'm red too. How many of you guys yellow? Yellow? Okay, yellows. Okay. Chungwon is a yellow too, by the way. Okay. Who else is yellow? Jason is a yellow too. Lizzie is a yellow too. Enneagram 7s are all yellows, basically. Yeah. Okay. Blue? 2 blues? 3. Oh, okay. Yeah. And there's 2 Enneagram 3s. Yeah. Enneagram 3s. 5s. Yeah. Task oriented. Okay. And then green? Oh, green. Green. Okay. Bill and 2. You might be a green. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna go into a little more in depth, and then again, as we go more and more, you'll learn more. And then, by the way, there's a video online. They do like discussion and stuff like that. I'll put it on the church group chat. If you want to learn more and go more into it, then you could do that. Because originally the study, it's actually you're supposed to watch the video and then talk. But I feel like it's more engaging if we do this together. Okay, we're going to start with yellow. Okay, remember, yellow and red, they're extroverts. But yellow, they're more people-oriented, and red is more task-oriented. Okay, let's start with yellow first. Okay, they're the sanguine. Okay, the loud strength. Who's a yellow in here? Okay, yellow, if you could read for us.
Sanguine, loud, strengths, magnetic, inspiring, encouraging, great storytellers who bring joy, laughter, and optimistic to everything they do. Optimism. Anyways, loud weaknesses can elaborate and exaggerate, speak too loudly, interrupt others, have a tendency to be forgetful and naive, unique, wired to see the best in people, and circumstances.
Okay, so again, they're extroverted, people-oriented. Okay, so a lot of good things. They're usually the life of the party. They're always having fun. Okay, great storytellers, a lot of laughters, a lot of optimism. But the negative thing is that what happens? They can exaggerate sometimes when they're telling their funny story or joking around. They could be really loud, and then they have a tendency to be irresponsible sometimes too. They get lost in the jokes and the fun and things like that. Okay, and this is a unique thing. They're very optimistic in people and circumstances. They always try to be very optimistic as much as possible. Okay, these are possible Enneagram. If you know Enneagram, we went over it at church before. But possible Enneagram, I think it fits 7 probably the most perfect. But if you're a 2 or a 3 or a 4, you could also be a yellow as well.
Wait, where do you learn about Enneagram?
I could give you a book about it. Yeah. Okay, so that's that. Any questions with the yellow? Okay, ask Louise because I don't know. Okay, or Chung'un or Jason. All right, red. Who's a red? Who was red here? Oh, all right, Kevin. Red.
Red choleric, powerful strengths, responsible, decisive, good at delegating, dynamic leaders who excel at managing tasks and projects. Powerful weaknesses, can argue dominant and use a harsh tone, have a tendency to be bossy, impatient, intolerant. Unique, wired to be visionaries who can see and achieve goals, extroverted, task-oriented. Enneagram 813.
Yeah. Okay. So we see here, okay, they're like born leaders basically, right? And they're good at organizing. Okay, they like being bossy and directing. Okay, so they're good things, and yet they could be very, very harsh. These are this group. Red is probably as far as words. They could be really, really harsh, and they make a lot of mistakes with words. Why? Because not only are they extroverts, on top of that, they're not people-oriented. They're task-oriented. So they don't think about people. They're just like, I gotta get things done. And on top of that, they're not thinking before they talk, and they're like, blah, blah, blah. And so it's really they have to be really careful with words. And then also, I am a red too. Okay, typical Enneagram 8. It could be a 1 or it could be a 3 as well. But I think 8s fit in there pretty well. All right. Any questions about red? I can answer red a little bit better. All right, let's go to the blue. Remember, blue and green, they're introverts. And then the blues, they're more people-oriented. And then the greens, they're more task-oriented. So let's get to the blues.
I think you reversed that.
The other way around, my bad. It went like this, yeah. You're right. Thank you. All right, who's blue? All right, blue, read it for us.
Deep strengths, both analytical and creative. Perfectionist or detail, orderly, compassionate, and often artistic or musical.
Is that right, Daniel? Musical? Oh.
Checks out.
Checks out.
Deep weaknesses can remember the negative fear, failure, and have low self-esteem. Have a tendency to be judgmental and critical. Unique, wired to anticipate obstacles and creatively problem solve.
Okay. So again, very deep emotions, very musical, very creative, perfectionist. And then the negative is they seem to remember all the failures. Okay? So, because again, feelings, emotion, it's internal. So they internalize a lot of those emotions, negative emotions. Okay. You could be an Enneagram 1, 4. 4 describes it pretty well, the emotional aspect. The 1, the perfectionist stuff. And then 5 and 6 as well. Because 5, 6s are more internal. Okay. Any questions about the blue? Okay, last one. Green. Who's a green? Okay, Lee.
Green, peaceful strengths, easygoing, steady, calm, and patient, loyal friends and good listeners who excel at leading people. Peaceful weaknesses, can respond to stress by being slow and stubborn, have a tendency to avoid conflict, disengage, and be too compromising. Unique, wired to stay calm and kind in the midst of chaos.
Yeah, so they're very controlled. Okay. Very, very chill. Okay, those are the positive. But the weakness is they could be like very slow sometimes. Okay. And they do not like conflicts. Okay. Okay, so Enneagram 9 is a good example. 6 is also a good example too. 2 and 5s also, these are all examples of it. Okay, so you kind of have a better characteristic of these different colors. Now I'm going to show you what they actually, some of the things they would actually say. Okay. Okay, this is what a yellow would say. Okay. Any other yellows here except Luis? Any other possible yellow? Okay, Monica, if you could read these yellow for us. This is what they would sound like.
Yellow strength. Oh, I've got a story about that. Wait till you hear this. Oh, that sounds fun. Weakness. Do you always have to be so serious? Oops, I completely forgot.
Okay, so these are kind of the examples of their characteristics. They get very excited. It's like stories, adventures, experiences. Ooh, that sounds great. They're always optimistic. But when things get serious, it's like, come on, I don't like serious. It's too serious. Or, again, they forget things. They're very forgetful because they're having so much adventure and fun. So it's easy for them to, the responsibility sometimes it gets to them. So they're like, whoops. But they make like joke out of it. It's not that serious. Okay? So again, this is what yellows would sound like. Red. Let me see, who else is? Lauren, you said you're a red as well.
Strength. How about we do it this way? Can you get that finished for me today? Weakness. Just do what I said. Hurry up.
Okay? So again, it's a lot of, like, it's about direction. It's about, like, getting places, right? Because again, reds are all about, they're task-oriented. And so the way they talk to you, it's not going to be about relationship, about feelings. It's about getting somewhere. Okay, getting to a certain place. So can we do it like this? Finish this. And then weakness is like, again, when they get frustrated, they're not getting there fast enough. They get frustrated. So they go, hurry up. Okay, because it's about the task more than the people. And then, hey, just do what I say. They get very dominant about power. Because they're doing it for, the whole company or their own good, for the family's good. But again, they're in a hurry. They want to get tasks done. And they just shout it out without thinking about things through. Okay. All right, let's see what blues. Any other? Okay. Who is a blue? Any other blue here? Okay. Bella?
Blue strength. I've been giving it some thought. I'm almost finished. I just want to fix something. Weakness. No one understands me. I'm worried about that.
Okay. So again, remember the blues? Okay, they internalize a lot of things. Okay, they want to do it perfectly. So they're thinking things through. Okay, they want to fix things, they want to make it perfect. And then the weakness is like they're always in a worry because what if like I make a mistake or I did make a mistake, I'm worried about it. I don't want to make a mistake again, so I'm thinking about it right now. Again, a lot of worries. Okay? So again, with the way they talk, you're going to hear that as well. Okay, green. Who else is a green? Tracy. All right, Tracy.
I'm good with whatever. I think we can make that work. Weakness? I'll do it later. I don't know.
Okay. So again, these are the peacemakers. Okay, they like to be calm. Okay, so they're like, hey, that's fine. That sounds good. That's a great idea. Okay. Oh yeah, we could make that work. Yeah, you could just, rearrange some of this. Okay, again, because it's about calm and they have a lot of good ideas. And so they're like, hey, we could, and that's why they're also good leaders as well. Because they're willing to, they can manage very well, and there's a lot of different opinions, and they can organize that very well, and they can mix it together. Weakness is, okay, fine, I'll just do it later. Okay, all right, I don't know. What do you want to eat? I don't know. What do you like? I don't know. Okay, so it's easy to defer because of that. Okay. Let's come back, or let's go to your groups. Now, you learned a little bit more about these colors. Okay, can you identify your color better? Is it different, same, with what you first took the test with? Because it might be different now, okay? And then can you resonate with some of these things? And then also, one more question. Can you identify maybe your family members? What do you think their colors, the people you interact with? Right, your boss or your coworker that you see all the time? Okay, your brother or sister, wife, kids? Okay, what color? Can you see some of these things? Okay, so get together with your partners. Go for it.
I had this morning.
What do you think when
I
you went
jumped in
over
the
there?
Took 10 minutes to get out of
Yeah, they turn out like
Are you green?
I know, I might be green.
Yeah, that's my thought exactly. 10 minutes. we gotta get out.
I told her to put 10 minutes together. I was like, we would have been on fire.
Yeah, I know.
Real fire.
We would have been burning.
Yeah, that's why
What color do you think you're still?
I don't know. I
You still don't know what color?
Like, I can relate to a couple of them.
Which one do you? What did you get on your test again?
Well, I haven't.
Oh, you still.
Remember, I'm a 1 from the.
Yeah, you're 9-1 or 1-9.
You're a green. He's a green.
Oh, red or blue?
Yeah.
Okay, so definitely more task oriented. Definitely more
It
task
just depends
oriented.
on how I'm feeling. I could
When
see
you
it.
were a kid,
Yeah.
not like
Not this again. The Enneagram you didn't know? so
yeah, when
asked
you
me
were
after
like
high
younger, more red or more blue?
Blue.
Oh, more blue.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But now more red, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, perfect. I remember you said like you don't like making mistakes. And,
I mean, I'm still like that, but I don't know. Yeah.
yeah. And then you're thinking a lot about like what you're gonna say, or do you just say it to you?
Depends on the situation.
On the situation.
But yeah, I'm pretty impulsive these days.
You are more impulsive,
Yeah, these days.
but you naturally you think you're more you think about it more.
Yeah.
But before you were like, I gotta say what I gotta
Maybe
say.
it's Alexa Pro. Cause like I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I'm a robot.
You're a robot.
Yeah, nothing's gonna affect me. But those are like opposites, yeah.
So, I mean, they're both task oriented.
She seems like aggressive and then emo.
Emo, yeah, emo, yeah. And then let me see. Abel, I think Abel. I see this a lot more when I interact with you. But you do also like people and you like having fun too. So I wonder which one.
I'm blue. Mix them together. Make it blue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, definitely opposite. I know, that would be, oh my goodness. I don't know how you
Okay, let's come back. Let's vote again. Okay, how many of you guys you're red for sure? You're red? You think you're red? Oh, okay. Okay, yellow? Okay, yellow for sure? Okay. Green? Green for sure, okay. Blue? Okay. Yeah, he thinks he's either this or this. He's not sure yet. Yeah.
Korea.
Korea. Okay. Okay. Genesis, if you could read this for us.
Word of warning. Anytime you describe or label entire categories of people, it's easy to lose the nuance. We see red described as dynamic leaders, so we assume anyone in leadership or authority must be red. Or we see yellow described as fun, so we assume everyone who has a sense of humor must be yellow. The similarities and differences between each temperament, especially opposite temperaments, can be subtle, but they're important to understand if we want to avoid incorrectly labeling others.
Yeah. So again, it's easier to just not look at the characteristics, but just have the people around you take these tests, okay, or explain the graph to them. Next, Tracy.
Yes, red are great leaders of projects, but green are gifted leaders of people. Yes, yellow are fun, but green's unique point of view often makes them very funny. When considering strengths and weaknesses, remember that opposite temperaments often have subtle twists of similar traits.
Yeah. Okay, so it's basically saying don't just look at the characteristics and just assume things from them. There could be different reasons why they could be in a leadership position. Okay, or different reasons why they're funny. All right, I have a homework for you guys of the week. Okay, Lee.
So how does all this labeling and describing help you avoid the unwholesome talk the Apostle Paul warns against? Be aware of how you're wired being aware of how you're wired allows you to stop and choose to respond from your strengths rather than blurting out a reply from your weaknesses. Here's the script for initiating the pause.
So this week what you're going to do is you're going to be a lot more cognizant. You're going to be thinking a lot more about what you're saying. Okay? So because you, again, different colors, we have different needs and different reasons why we interact, say the things that we do, you're going to be a lot more cognizant about what you're saying and why you're saying certain things. And even though you could say the same thing, can I say it in a more wholesome way? Okay? Say it in a way, again, for the red, again, you having a vision, you wanting to get places, that's a positive thing. But you don't have to like mow people down as you're doing it. Okay? So the way you speak then, again, you could emphasize the positive instead of, and then get rid of the weakness. Does that make sense? So this is how we're going to do it. And this is a script that we're going to use. I have a tendency to be, and then you put an adjective in here or a verb. But I will choose to do this. Okay, and we'll give you examples. But you have to think of your own. Okay? So the first one, yellows are going to say, I have a tendency to interrupt. Because yellows, they're all about like, having fun and talking, and they have so many things to say. But instead, I'm going to choose to be a good listener. Okay? Yellow, red, I have a tendency to be bossy, but I would choose to delegate well. So this is a negative, but there's a positive thing I can do as well. Instead of being bossy, hey, I can delegate rather than telling people what to do. Okay, blue, I have a tendency to be critical responsibility. I don't know, critically responsible? Oh, that's weird. I don't know what I put. Critical or responsible, but I would choose to be compassionate. Okay? So again, it's okay to be critical, okay, towards others or towards yourself. But again, you could choose to be compassionate as well. Hey, sometimes I make a mistake. That happens. People make mistakes. That happens. Okay, so you could be compassionate. And blues actually are very compassionate as well, because that is one of your strengths. Okay, greens, I have a tendency to avoid responsibility, but I would choose to be cooperative. Okay, because greens, they're like laid back and they're just like, okay, fine, I'll just do it later kind of a thing. But instead, you can realize, I can work with people, because that's one of my strengths. So I can do it now with people instead of just like, I'll just do it later. Okay, we don't have. We do have a lot of time. I keep always.
My last thing that I did at work on Fridays is really interesting because I have a guy on my team.
Yeah.
He's definitely a red. He's like a really strong personality. And he's engaging with one of our business partners who's this woman, and she's very bubbly and energetic. And
she's probably yellow then?
She's a yellow, 100%.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's IMing me saying, this woman, he's mowing her down.
Yeah.
Because he's going.
He's going very
yeah. And he says literally like, she's in La La Land. She never listens.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what red would say.
Right.
Because it's saying the yellow says I have to choose to be a good listener.
Yeah.
And she was always interrupting him. But he's a red.
Yeah. And he's like, I have to get things done, and hey, we got to do things. And they're like, no, let's have fun. Let's
business later.
Yeah, but so they could clash. All of these, by the way, they could all clash. There's no like perfect mixture of any of these.
No, but I was green, so I'm like, Luis, you have to like really get along with people. You
like everybody. Yeah. Very nice. All right. Any questions, clarification? That's the end of it. Any questions, clarifications? Okay. Good. I don't know either because this is my first time teaching, so you guys are my guinea pigs. All right. So let's do the review questions and then we'll finish.